And I feel like most people are more sick than they want to admit. And they are just afraid of accepting it because of like the connotation that sickness could have. But any dis-ease is just being not at ease. So anything that makes you feel like, we all have that. And I feel like when you have this self-awareness and you start working on yourself, it's like those mentally, emotionally, physically, on a soul level kind of like dissipate. And it's like, I think essentially what everyone is looking for, but nobody even knows that's what they want. It's like this liberation, you know?
Yeah. It's a liberation of the things weighing heavy on you that you didn't even know were that heavy.
Exactly.
But you're carrying them every day. Yeah.
So welcome to our podcast. So, okay, so I'm Nicole. I think we should both present ourselves because your people don't know me, my people don't know you.
Yeah.
So, actually, do you want to start? Like your name, what you do, we can kind of let them know where we are, kind of how we met, just so that they can get a vibe.
Yeah. Well, I'm Annie. I always have problems to introduce myself. I hate it.
Okay, I will introduce you.
Yes.
Okay.
So much better.
Yes. Okay, so as you are seeing, we have like this telepathic thing going on. We can finish each other's sentences and we love each other so much.
Yeah.
So I met Annie in Bali like 6 months ago, which is insane to me. I can't believe how fast time goes by. And Annie, she does a lot of things. I think we're both very similar in that sense. She's very psychic and powerful. And when I met her, she had this crazy long curly hair like a mermaid. So for me, she was like an alien mermaid. Like the second I saw her, I was like, that girl is so cool. I want to be her friend. And and then eventually we met in a really funny way, like unexpected. It was raining.
You were actually kind of on a date? Or no?
I was not on a date. I wish I had been on a date. I wanted to be on a date, but clearly the guy was not into me. So I ended up talking with Annie when my date ditched me because it was raining. And then we were waiting for the rain to pass. And we just talked for a long time. And then I invited you to an event. It was like a Kundalini activation thing.
Yeah.
And then we went to have breakfast, and since then, we just knew we were soul sisters, I guess. And what else can I say?
We were shaking on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, what else can I say about you? Annie is a really cool girl. She's from Sweden. We're both traveling. We both do healing and energy work, and we're both kind of psychic. And we're vibing in Thailand right now in a really cool place.
Yeah.
In Pai. We have no electricity right now because there's been floods. So yeah, that's kind of the context of this and a small intro of Annie.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So Nicole, who are you?
Who am I?
Well, I would love to tell, like, from my perspective, like, who are you?
Okay.
To me, like, from my point of view. And Nicole is like actually one of the most powerful witches that I've come across. I met some very magical people along my path for many years, and I mean, I'm not gonna out your age here or anything.
Yeah.
But you're such an old soul for the vessel that you are in right now on Earth.
for my young avatar.
Exactly. With that, I'm like, you know, if I'm gonna introduce you to people or like the work that you do, I'm like, yeah, she's the real deal. Like, she knows what she's doing. Her magic is so freaking potent, and she's expensive, but it's worth it. Yes.
But I do offer donation-based things also, because I do. Okay, yeah, my work is expensive. Honestly, I stopped undervaluing my work a long time ago. And I do say that to people, like, if you want to work with me, my work is expensive. But I do offer donation-based readings or, you know, every person is different and every situation is different, but I think there's always help available in
Yes.
different ways, you know?
I think as healers, that's just how it is. I mean, it's the same for me.
Yeah.
I would never deny anyone help because of a financial situation. That's just like not at all aligned with being a healer.
Yeah. Oh,
But
sorry.
also, we do need a roof over our head and food in our bellies.
Exactly.
So it's a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like going into that, I feel like a lot of healers struggle charging for their services. And we actually don't know what we're talking about here. We're just having a conversation. But I think that's actually a really interesting thing to talk about. Not that we should only talk about that, but I just want to point that out because I've been doing a lot of like a lot of healing regarding how I value myself.
Yeah.
And I think that there's this misconception around money and that if you're helping someone, you shouldn't charge for it. And I think that's just not true because money is just a means of exchange, of value. And if you're giving immense value to someone, I think you should receive the same in return, you know? But we do live in a world where we need to pay for shit. So yeah, money is a thing, and money is, especially if you do healing as your job, you know? I do have this thing where I always help people that can't pay for it. I usually do that in person. But like every time I have a specific amount of clients or money coming in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to set aside X amount of hours. And I think that's a good strategy for any healer that wants to heal and doesn't want, you know, money to get in the way, because it is true that sometimes money is a problem to people. But also I feel like when you charge what your services are actually worth, it motivates people to actually do the work. Because I have found when I have given things for free, people don't value it and
Yeah,
people don't do their
100%.
tasks, and it fucks you over and it fucks them over. So you're not doing anyone a service.
Yeah, for sure. It creates a value.
Yeah.
Like for them.
Exactly.
It goes both ways.
And a commitment.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Like I had I don't know, like a guru a few years back. He told me the same thing. And he said like, yes, I have just opened up for donation based. He told me what the usual price was, which was crazy. Like for me at that time, it was just like mission impossible for me. But the work that we were going to do, even if I was in a tough spot financially, like the first number that came to my mind, I took that and I doubled that. Because it really is like you're putting the value, and what will also get me to move my ass.
Yeah.
What will, yeah, like you say, like it's a commitment.
From both ends.
Well, it's like these old supermodels who didn't go out of bed unless they, like, I don't know, like got $60,000 or something.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
This is the same. Like, what kind of amount of money for you personally would be uncomfortable enough to pay in order for you to actually show up for your commitment?
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, therapy is not a fun thing. So, like, if you're paying $20 for it, you're like, fuck it, I'm not going to go. And then the therapist, you know, she has her hour booked out, and then the client doesn't show up. And then the client doesn't care. But if you're paying a lot of money, like, it's actually creating you to make an effort, then you're like, I'm going to give my 100%.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think it's good for both ends, for the client and for the healer.
Yeah. And I think it's just good to like heal that old wound of like not being able to charge for your services, because this is actually a reason to why I started a platform and gathering healers a few years ago. Because I mean, being the society as it's built today, if we're having these purely magical people with gifts to heal, to help, do we want these awesome people to work part-time jobs and waste their time there instead of helping more people?
Yeah, no.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Because that is what they have to do.
And speaking of that, like how society is built, I think that a lot of times people think people okay, I think there is a lack of true judgment of value. So people are like, I'm only going for an hour. So an hour should be, I don't know, 100 euros. But what happens if in that hour I am healing a chronic disease that they've had for 10 years and no doctor has been able to help? How much time will I be saving them in the future? How much is my knowledge worth? How much am I saving them of pain, of misery, of years, of money, of all the doctor's appointments? So it's like, how are you placing your value? That shit is priceless. Like, I would pay 10,000 euros for that. You know, not that my services are that. They're actually not that expensive. You know, I think depends on who you ask.
Emphasize it too much.
I think depends on who you ask, you know,
Yes,
but
of
it's
course.
like, I actually don't think my services are expensive at all, because the value that I give to people is 10 times more than what the price is.
Yeah.
But I think people, the mindset of people is about hours, or they value things that are not really worth it. And this is something that I've noticed in a lot of people. They value, for example, material things like money, houses, having nice clothes over health. So many people are putting their jobs and their careers before their health. You have no idea how many conversations I've had in the last week of people saying like, I can't breathe. Like when I'm working, I can't breathe. I'm working with this older guy. He has problems in the heart. He has a heart condition, and it's just, you know, it makes me so sad because he has a lot of money. Like, he has accomplished everything he had set for in his life, like all of his goals, all his material success is there. But I think he kind of lost sight of why he was doing it, because, you know, when you think about it, when you're young and you create goals of, okay, I want to have financial success, I want to have a home, my kids, all of that. But then people get so caught up in that then they're 60 and they have no family, they have no health. They kind of like threw everything out the window because they over focused in their career, and now they have all the financial success, but was it worth it?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that one thing has to fight with the other. I just think people need to get their priorities straight. Because to be able to have sustainable growth in your career and like true success, ask yourself, what does success mean to you? For me, success is like feeling great every day, you know, and that doesn't have a price tag on it. Like, what do I have to do to feel successful every day?
I think this is one of the core questions that we really need to take time to ask ourselves. What is success to you? Not only like what is the conditioned way of success, or what does success for society or success for your parents or your partner, what is truly success for you?
And also, are you basing success on an outcome? Because then you're basing your happiness and your joy and your fulfillment on external circumstances. What if that never happens? I think to be able to have a realistic goal, it can't depend on anything external. It has to depend on you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because the external factors can always change.
Yeah.
And if you connect that with your level of success or approval of yourself or your self-worth, then that can change in a day. Anything, like you can get laid off from a job, or oh my gosh, like nature catastrophe, anything can happen.
Yeah.
It's way too risky. Why would you want to put your self-worth and your way of success in that kind of bad investment? It's a bad investment.
It's a bad investment. Don't do it.
Like, you want to put it in a secure investment.
Yeah.
So, like, investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And like, you know, really the inner work. Invest in your inner work, goddamn it.
It's literally investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask people how much time they're investing in themselves, it's like Zero.
I think
And
right
I mean,
there, that's something important.
and
right there.
I mean zero because they can be doing their hobbies and going to classes. But I was talking to a client yesterday actually, and she was like, yeah, I'm actually really happy because, yeah, like everything is going to shit. I'm really unhappy in my job and this, but at least I picked up some hobbies. And I was like, that's good. Like, I'm actually, and it is good. I'm actually happy that, you're taking an hour or two to feed your soul, because in the end, that brings you happiness. But that is another distraction. Like, how much time are you giving yourself to just be? Exist with yourself, sit with yourself, get to know yourself, listen to yourself, like without doing any activity, without choosing any distraction. You ask any person how often they do this, and most people don't do it.
No.
The people that do it, you do find this more in Asia though, and I think that's why we really love these kind of places, because people are so chill, because they know how to enjoy life.
Yes, but
They know.
I think also a way in that is like, you create space to do nothing.
Exactly.
People in like Western Europe, and like I can talk about the northern part of Europe, that's where I originate from, and especially in Sweden, no joke, we are planners. They plan everything down to the minute. Like, you can try to meet your best friends and be like, how is 2 weeks from now?
Wow.
Yes. Like, if you ask a Swedish person to meet the same week, it's 95% gonna be a no.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Although I used to be like that in school. Dude, my best friend was like, bitch, you're crazy. You're like 16 years old. You have an agenda. Like, I have to schedule a week in advance. And I was like, yeah. But it was because I am kind of Swedish in that way. I don't have Swedish blood, but I have something Nordic there. But I have always planned time for myself. Like, always in my agenda, I would schedule like, from this time to this time, I will sing. For this time to this time, I will go to the gym. Here, I will do my homework. I have 1 hour to meet a friend. I have 1 hour free. And like, in that free hour, it was just for me to do whatever I wanted in that moment. But it was so crazy how, as such a young age, I was actually scheduling time for myself. And
That is impressive.
I think that's why I've grown a lot. And that's why people say like, holy shit, you look so much older than what you are. What you were saying, like such an old soul. I think that I do carry all this wisdom, but it's because I have, what the fuck?
What?
Wait. No.
Did it end?
I don't know what happened. Oh,
Are we on?
it's on. It says 1825. It was just, okay.
Well, cut.
Sorry, I freaked out. Okay.
I was like, do you see a dragon or something? Is it burning somewhere? Like, okay.
Okay, sorry guys, we don't know what happened. We thought the camera had died, but we're still here. So, but I do think that I carry this wisdom because I have integrated the lessons from life. Because we all go through shit. But you don't get the lesson unless you integrate it, and the only way to integrate it is by creating space for yourself.
Yes.
So I feel like I have talked a lot, but I feel like you have a lot of insight on like how people can create space for themselves. Like what would you say works for you? What have you seen works for people?
But I think like in terms of people that are busy, that like might actually really need this, like your example is really good. Like schedule time for yourself, and then we don't mean like go for a pedicure. Like that can be it too, but this is like an hour to do nothing.
To get bored. People
bored.
are so afraid of being bored. People
Don't
are
put
so
anything
afraid.
there. Yeah, don't put in anything. Like
Yeah.
I got a really good tip from a mentor of mine. It was actually like a business mentor. But he told me like if you have your schedule and you get a cancellation, it's so easy that we are like wanting to move and adjust the rest of the day schedule. Like, oh, so it opened up an hour. So if I move this thing to that, and he said, never do that. Never do that. Never move another meeting ahead. If you get an extra hour somewhere, keep that extra hour there, because you are not guaranteed you're not going to be more productive. You're not going to achieve more that day. What you are putting at risk is actually the opposite of that, because you're going to erupt your schedule, you're going to erupt the plans that you had prepared for, and instead you are having a bonus there. Like either like something, you know, like, what is it called? Not unnecessary. This something you didn't expect. Like take that
Unexpected.
hour. Unexpected.
Yeah.
Like take.
It's like
that,
an unexpected gift from the universe.
Exactly.
Like have an hour for yourself.
Exactly. It's like a universal gift. It's like
Yeah.
a blessing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nothing has changed. That cancellation or whatever is gonna come somewhere else, and then you're gonna plan it and schedule it. But don't like really see it as a gift.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the one thing about for busy people. First of all, schedule your alone time of doing nothing, and if you're getting this unexpected gift of a cancellation, which maybe or in some way, you know, take that as a sign that this is the time for you to just be.
And how would you say, like, if a person is, okay, let's say they schedule in their free hour at 3 p.m. So it's 3 p.m. What do they do?
This is a good question. Because I think it's very different from everyone.
Exactly. And that's why I'm asking, because it's not a one answer fits all. It's more about you have to become self-aware.
Yeah.
But I feel like for people who are so detached from life, I'm not giving shit to everyone. This is just basically how everyone lives. I'm sorry. But it's true, and it's good to know it, because then you can actually do something about it. But when you're so detached from yourself,
where do you start?
It's not like you don't have intuition, like you have it, but how do you know what to do? How do you listen to your body? How do you start? That's what I've been like, it's been fucking with my mind, dude. And that's why I'm saying it, and I really want your insight, because, you know, I took a break from therapy for a long time, and I've been just working on myself, and I have gone so deep. And it's like I can just do things instantly, but now I'm getting new clients that have like never listened to their bodies in like 60 years. And I'm like, how do I, and like super busy people, like how do you start with that?
Well, what comes to mind for me, like right now, just tuning into it, like I think a practice that a lot of us would benefit from, because we're like, let's say we're newbies with this. We don't like spend time without any kind of distraction. Like we don't spend time without any kind of music or buzzing going on in the background. We always have something.
We're always doing something.
Yeah. And to remove all these distractions and to literally just be, I think a lot of people will struggle to be like, what do you mean just be? Like they will still do something. So
but I think, you know, even before we say like what we could do, I think a lot of people are not even interested in it. Like, why should they do it? What do you think is the benefit of doing that?
Well, okay, well, this is a big question.
There's so many benefits.
There's a big one.
I know it's a big question, but it's like the intention behind. It's like what makes people say, you know what, fuck it, let's try this weird thing of just being. I'll schedule my hour, fuck it. Okay. You know, they have to know, like, why is it so good?
Okay, so normal people language, I would say better sleep, better focus, better health, and everything goes like in a circle there, but like it has so many, and we can state a whole long list of like health benefits.
Yeah, I think in general you just feel better. And for me, like, I think this is not gonna apply to everyone, but at least to me, I'm a person who has like a long period of my life suffered from health conditions, like not feeling okay in my body. And then I have had moments, because I value health so much, I have had moments where I feel really good, like the best energy I have had, like so calm, so focused, so clear. And then I've had moments where it's the complete opposite, like complete anxiety, suicidal thoughts, like terrible relationship with my body, eating disorder, problems in the back, injuries, like not being able to walk, like just being sick, like being sick on a mental level, emotional level, physical level, spiritual level. And I feel like most people are more sick than they want to admit. And they are just afraid of accepting it because of like the connotation that sickness could have. But any dis-ease is just being not at ease. So anything that makes you feel like, we all have that. And I feel like when you have this self-awareness and you start working on yourself, it's like those mentally, emotionally, physically, on a soul level kind of like dissipate. And it's like, I think essentially what everyone is looking for, but nobody even knows that's what they want. It's like this liberation,
Yeah. It's a liberation of the things weighing heavy on you that you didn't even know were that heavy.
Exactly.
But you're carrying them every day. And this is the part of awareness. This is why I personally talk so much about awareness. Like, because I really think this is the key to life. Like, it doesn't matter how you live your life. It doesn't matter which religion you follow or don't follow. If you're into spirituality or no, or all these other branches of life. It doesn't matter.
A friend has
Stopped the engine.
Yeah.
Okay, so where were I? Yeah, it doesn't matter how you live life, in which direction you live life, because the root, the key, the biggest, like the core key to the biggest lock that I found in life is awareness.
Yeah.
And if you are aware of what you're doing, if you are making conscious choices, then you can literally do anything you want with your life.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. It's like people don't realize the power that they have. Like, people think that only some people have luck and they can create an amazing life. But people don't realize that we are all magical beings and that we all have this creative power inside of us to literally create the life that we want.
Yeah.
And it's about, it was
really good.
It was good.
We were talking.
Oh, I was talking about people don't realize that they have the creative power to create the life that they want. And it's like, if you don't like something in your life, anything, whether it's a behavior, anything, the moment you take responsibility for it and you realize that you are the cause of that happening, it's a hard pill to swallow at first, because it's like, fuck, I've been doing this all along. It's my fault. And it's like, yeah. But like, put your ego aside. Who cares whose fault is it? The point is, it's like a game. If you accept that it's your fault, okay, it's going to cost you your ego. But once you accept that it is your fault, you can change it however you want. Because once it is in your hands and it's your responsibility, responsibility, it's the ability to respond. So any situation in your life, it's your responsibility. How are you going to respond? You have the ability to respond. And I think, especially in the like tough moments in life, or when it's really hard to accept responsibility because maybe something external happened. Maybe someone did something really bad to us and it hurts, and it's really easy to be in the pain and just be like, it's that person's fault, because that way, you don't have to deal with the pain. You can just kind of blame someone else.
Yeah.
But when you...
It's very easy.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, even if another person did something, still, like, there's a part of you that was in that frequency to attract that. Like, if you have the courage to go in and see what wound got triggered from this, you can see that situation as a gift, because it is mirroring something that is within you, that is like a golden key to the next step of your liberation, of your
100%.
being able to love yourself. And even if with horrible situations, dude, like things, like sexual abuse and really bad things like that, it's really hard to forgive, but once you do that, and okay, maybe another person did it. It's not like you did it. It was your fault that you did that to yourself, but you did kind of like, usually you're angry at yourself for not standing up for yourself, for not setting boundaries. So then how do you heal that? Well, you take the reins of that and you're like, fuck it. I'm going to stand up for myself
Fuck
now.
it. Yes.
You know? But that's the only way, accepting responsibility. And that's what people are afraid to do. And that's why people don't create the life that they want. And that's why they are in the hands of, you know, people doing whatever they want.
Yeah. I think that's like that's something that is tough to hear though, to tell someone like you have all the possibility to make your life, your dream life, the way you want it, but you don't because you don't want to own that shit, or that's practically what you're saying, I guess.
Yeah.
That's hard to hear.
Yeah.
So if someone who's watching it right now would feel like, fuck you.
Fuck you. I probably get a lot of that. I do. And it's okay.
Yeah.
I have accepted that I am meant to be a human trigger in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So, like, I know even my presence triggers people sometimes. Because especially I grew up in a culture where very different for me, you know, like very religious. A lot of people in my family were super against tattoos and piercings, and
That's literally you.
that's literally me. Like you see me and you see everything you hate in someone who is your blood. It's just like, you know, and I got that as a kid a lot, and it created a lot of pain, sure, but it beyond that, saying what I was literally talking about, like, yeah, that created a lot of pain, and I could say, oh my God, those were terrible people. I didn't deserve to be treated like that, but that's not going to do anyone a favor if I just say, okay, what did that teach me? And first of all, it taught me how to not be judgmental towards them, because I was so pissed that they were judging me. But when I actually had the time to sit with myself, sit with my emotions, feel what my body was telling me, cry, be angry, whatever, I had so much time to think. For like a month, I was on a detox. Literally detoxing for like 5 hours a day in the sauna. And I was thinking how angry I was at my family. And then I realized, well, I'm expecting them to accept me as I am. But here I am judging them, calling them hypocrites, calling them assholes, calling them whatever because they don't understand me. But I'm not understanding them. I don't have to agree with them, but if I want respect, then I shall give respect. And just the moment I shifted that perspective in me, I spoke to my mom a couple of days after, and she was telling me how my dad had stood up in like a family situation about a religious thing. And I was in the conversation, and he actually stood up for me for like the first time ever. I wasn't even there, you know, but I was like, oh, wow. Like just me shifting my perspective had an energetic shift in my family. And then when I went back to Guatemala months later, my family had just stopped talking to me, like nagging me about, you should change, this is wrong, you're going to go to hell, like whatever. Now we have different beliefs, but they're not like, you know.
I get it. Because the results of the frequency work that we are doing.
Exactly. Because I shifted, I forgave, I shifted my frequency, and then it immediately changed how they were acting towards me.
Because you're bound through chords, through DNA, through energy. And this is really like, personally, I had a similar like experience. Like when I was starting off my like personal development journey, a lot of people told me like, all the work that you're doing is going to be reflected on your family. And I was like, that's beautiful that you're saying that. I didn't believe that for a second. Not for a second. I was like, yeah, you say that, but you have obviously never met my family, and you really don't know where I come from. Like, but I gotta admit, I was hugely and pleasantly surprised that they were right.
Wow.
Because I cannot, like, I would not recognize like the shift that's been happening in my family, like on a health level, on a personality level, character, ambition, all the big stuff has shifted. Like they are like so elevated version of themselves already, and I know that they have like so much more to do and to achieve and to conquer, but already what I see in them is like, whoa. And the miracles that has made for our relationships together as a family, it's amazing. I am deeply grateful. But did I believe it when I heard it? Like, not even a little. I was like, that's great that you say that, but I'm gonna do me, and like, you know, I'm gonna be happy with whatever progress I make. That's good enough. Yeah. But I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't been through it. These people at that time, they had.
Yeah.
So, like, literally going back to just like all the frequency work that you're doing, all the personal development that you're doing, everything that you're healing in yourself, you're healing for everyone.
Yeah.
And not only your family, like for the humanity as a collective.
Yeah.
And that is what we're doing.
Because every person that meets you and receives your energy and your words, your presence, like everything in you, you make an impact in those people. And I think that's how you recognize a true wise person when you meet one. It's not something about what they say. It's like just their presence transmits that. And it's because they are congruent with what they say. They walk their talk. And it's because they have time to integrate the lessons and to do the work that shifts the energy. And that way it just transmutes everything they come into contact with. They inspire. And that's been like my dream to do, you know, since I was like 18. And that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I did a meditation where I was looking at my purpose in here in this lifetime and my mission. And, you know, it was many things, but it was connected to being like a human trigger and what I was talking about my family, because it was like part of what you do in this life is like you meet people and you are a human trigger. Like you need to learn how to not take people's judgment personally. Like know that it's just a mirror of their own inner world, and just be yourself anyway. Because when you stand up like that and you put that shield and you stand as a mirror, and no matter what they do, you just stay there confidently, eventually that will make that person break and see inwards. And it's the best gift you can give to anyone, because when people see me, they have this first impression of me. And I've gotten this a lot, whether it's a bad impression or a good impression or whatever judgment people put in their minds. Because I can be like a very likable person from what I've heard. Like people are
I
like,
mean, I liked you from moment one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
some
something.
people, yeah, some people can be like, she seems really cool. Or some people can be like, I was intimidated by you. And it's because I have this like,
Wow. Have you gotten that? I've gotten from a few people, they're like, I'm scared of you.
Yeah.
And I'm so surprised every time that happens. I do see myself as a pretty sweet person.
Yeah, but I can see that because you have such a rich inner world. You can be in your mind, so you can have a resting bitch face.
Oh yeah,
that happens to me a lot too. So I get that. But it's like, no, I'm genuinely a cool. But like, if you talk to me, I will smile. I'm smiling all the time. Like I can talk to anyone. You know, I'm super chill. But that's the thing. People see me and they perceive one thing, but when they talk to me, usually it's a complete different thing from what they imagined.
Because I think that you open up a complete new world for them when you talk.
That's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Wow.
You do. Because you're such a strong player, or whatever we want to call it. I see sometimes life as a video game, so here we go with my metaphors. But like, we all have different missions, we all have different purposes here, and I think one of your really strong gifts is your voice and the ability to talk in a way that people understand. You can make a lot of complex things understandable, and that is rare. like because you have a lot of knowledge. And I think also a way to see is this work really fully integrated is if someone who have done it can put it in a way that is easy to understand.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of your gifts.
Because that's the only way you can do it. That's the thing. Like a lot of self-help books, a lot of shit tells you things like how you can help yourself in very vague ways, but you can only truly explain it and get clarity once you live it and experience it. And at first, I was kind of like, I don't want to go through that journey because it's fucking hell.
Well, if we're gonna be honest, if you knew, if you knew before, would you do it?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I chose to do it right before coming here, so I had to make peace with that. But it took me a while because I was like, I was fighting my journey. I was like, fuck this, like I don't want to live this, like this is so, I was putting myself in such a victim mode and I was so sick. And it wasn't until I was like, you know what, fuck this, it is what it is, what can I do with this? It was the only way I could move forward. And because I have integrated these things, and I don't know, I feel like I have very strong guides in like the astral realm or the spiritual realm. I haven't had a lot of guidance in the material world, and I think that's a lot where my wounds stem from, the wounds that I still have to work on, because I do have a lot of abandonment wounds, you know, and like not feeling guided. So a lot of my journey has been about feeling lonely or like not knowing what's the right thing or not wanting to fuck up and people pleasing. And like, even though I know I have these amazing gifts, I couldn't see the value in me for a long time because no one around me did, you know? So it was like,
so what was the shift?
The shift was me realizing that I was victimizing myself unconsciously. Like it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but I was in a victim state because I just accepted that I was putting all the attention and the blame on external circumstances. And then when I said, you know what, that already happened. Like the only thing I can do from the past is learn from it. I can't change it. But how would I want it to be different from now onwards? And I kind of embarked on this journey on reparenting myself. Like thinking how I would have liked to be parented, how I want to take care of my body, how I want to be present with my passions, my desires, like how I can nurture all the areas of my life. Like as if I was raising a child. That's what I imagine. I put myself in like a mother role. And I think because I'm so nurturing, because I did grow up, I was very independent. I was always taking care of others. So I'm a good carer. I just didn't know how to do that for myself, you know, because I was always doing it for others.
And I think also just like, again, when I asked you what was the shift, it's like, again, like we said, the key, awareness.
Yeah.
It was the awareness coming like, oh, pause. Wait, I'm victimizing myself here.
Yeah.
That awareness that allowed you to go back into, oh, wait, how are we going to shift this? Like, again, to be in a non-reactive state in a way that you talked about before. Like, how can I respond to this?
Yeah.
But this time you didn't have an external like trigger maybe. This time it was within yourself.
Yeah.
So I think this is something that a lot of us sees. Like first we are working so much with the external world, like the triggers from the external world. And yes, that's how we start. It's like why we are here as well. Like the duality, we're here to mirror each other, we're here to trigger each other, we're here to help each other grow and evolve. But then it also like when you're becoming this like, oh, during the journey of self-development, you're becoming more aware of yourself and your inner, like what is going on the inside.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not projecting as much, but then like you said, like, oh, wait, I was able to call myself out on me victimizing myself.
Yeah. And it's like a mental game. So it's like another layer of depth, but it has layers, right? So I think for people who haven't started, it's like first you start with the things that trigger you externally. Because it's like the most obvious, it's where you will react.
You're already there.
Yeah.
You're literally living it right now.
Yeah. So I think that for people who are in that stage, I mean, something I could say would be maybe a good thing is when something happens, like take a moment. And if you're with another person, just say like, I need a moment, go to the bathroom, whatever, and just pause and notice your breath. Like, first of all, you probably stopped breathing. Breathe. Because if you don't breathe, you don't have oxygen in your brain. How do you expect to find clarity? I don't know. So breathe. And then when you breathe, you will relax. And the point is not to remove the emotion, because you will probably have an uncomfortable emotion when you need to pause, when you have a trigger. When something triggers you, you probably will get fear or anxiety or anger or some uncomfortable emotion that we don't know how to deal with, so we might want to avoid. So when we take the pause and we breathe, it's not to remove that sensation. It's to breathe so that you are relaxed and you can enter the sensation from a centered place. And that brings awareness. So when you do that and you are breathing, you can literally feel, like, ask yourself, where do I feel this, whatever, let's say it's anger. Where do I feel this anger in my body? Let's say it's in the chest. So you focus on the chest and you just focus on it without trying to change it, without judging it, without saying things. Just shut the fuck up. Just listen to it. Okay?
Yeah.
Observe it. See if it has a color. Like, get curious, you know? Like, be present with it. Imagine it's like a thing inside of you wanting your attention. So be present with it. Like, observe it, listen to it, and just breathe. Breathe into it. And when you do that, it goes away in like seconds, and you get the clarity of like, oh, this is what pissed me off. Like, this is the thing. It's not what I thought, like the whole story that I was making up in my mind.
So fast.
It's like, this is the thing. It's so fast, but people are afraid of facing the emotion because no one has taught us how to face the emotion. Because we learn...
It's rather the opposite, right?
We learn from our parents, what everyone learns from, you know, the others, and it's something we're changing, but it's like a very reactive thing. Like, something happens and people react.
Yeah.
But when you act instead of react, when you notice the reaction in your body, there will be a natural reaction in your body that you cannot change because chemically things get released in your brain. That is a reaction. You will have a reaction. And don't judge it as good or bad. It's just there. But it's giving you a message. It's giving you feedback. So when you say, okay, something's happening, take a moment, center yourself, breathe. Just breathe. Just try to make your breath more deep and more slow. And then feel it. And that's the way you feel an emotion. And yeah, it can be really uncomfortable. You might cry. Maybe you want to punch something, punch your pillow, whatever. But that's the only way, I think, to truly go through something and be able to get to the other side of it. Because otherwise it gets repressed.
Yeah. I think I like the way you describe it, because you're really breaking down how, like, in such an easy way, how do you feel an emotion?
Yeah.
And I think it's in a way it's crazy.
It's so easy.
That it's like, no, but it's crazy that we're actually at the level that we need to do some basic explaining of how do you feel an emotion.
Exactly.
And
like, we
that's
never
where
learned
we
that.
need to start.
Exactly. Like, people,
baby steps.
I was talking to my dad. I was like, people don't know how to breathe. Like, breathing is the first thing you need in life. If you don't breathe, you die. You know,
Yes.
you die. Like, 2 minutes, you're dead. If you have a lot of, you know, I don't know, good heart, good lungs, whatever, maybe 5 minutes, but then you're dead. Like, the breath
You're dead.
It's the first thing, and people don't know how to breathe. And they should teach you this in preschool. They should teach you how to breathe.
There's a lot of things they should teach
how
us
to
in
feel an
school.
emotion. Yeah, I think honestly, when I have kids, I'm gonna open a school. I don't know where I'm gonna be living, but guys, I'm telling you, I'm opening a school, and we're gonna teach these things. And everyone, I want to have a beautiful community. Everyone who's a part of the community, like, all our kids can be there.
I might enroll my kids
Of
at your
course,
school, because
yes.
this is like, the school system is a way I'm like, I don't want kids in this life because I cannot take responsibility of putting them in a normal school. Like, no.
No, we got to teach people how to think, how to breathe, how to sleep, how to sit down, how to stand up. People don't have good posture.
The basic stuff in life.
The basics,
like,
dude.
What do you need in order to live a happy, healthy life?
Yeah. It's really not that much. Like,
Yes,
seriously,
and yet they do their best to avoid all of those topics.
because people are overcomplicating things. People say like, I don't know if people are going to be able to hear that. Okay, I think we went on a lot of side branches, but I think it all connects, and I think it's a good intro. And just tell people, like, go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Like, fix your posture, fix your sleep, fix your breathing, fix your eating habits. Then you can focus on all the other stuff. But don't try to fix problems that are, like, above, I don't know.
Above the reach where you're at right now.
Yeah, start with the basics, because you need a solid foundation for the higher, bigger problems.
Yes. So what would your, like, if you would try to give one conclusive advice from what we've talked about today, what would it be? I know you could do many, so just pick one.
I'm trying to think what we talked about. I'm like, we talked about so much.
We talked about a lot.
I would say that for anyone trying to improve something in their lives, or anyone feeling stuck, needing guidance, help, whatever, like, this is for anyone. I think what we've been talking about, everything starts with self-awareness. And, like, remember that you have the ability and the power to change anything you want. And it actually paradoxically starts with not trying to change anything and accepting yourself. Like, realizing you don't have to change yourself. You're perfect as you are. Accept yourself. Listen to yourself, because you are the wisdom that you're seeking. You are the answers that you're seeking. But you need to tune in with that aspect of yourself, because you're so detached from it, because you're so attached to the external and the conditioning. And when you start listening to yourself, a lot of these barriers are going to start breaking open, whether they're mental, physical, emotional, whatever. And you're actually going to start creating an impact in your community and in your family. And I think the world right now needs so much love. I see everything going to shit, and it breaks my heart for humanity. And it really has made me think, what is the thing? And I think it's a lack of self-awareness, and I think we all need to start from there. And from there, we all grow.
Love is the answer.
Yeah.
Love is always the answer.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that could take me into a new 30 minutes conversation. But yes. So, yeah. This is our first conversation, first podcast.
Definitely not first conversation, but first podcast.
First public conversation, let's say.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope you liked it. With your Instagram, Nic
The Guru.
Yes.
And your Instagram?
So I have Annie Marie Arika, and my business one you find on Play Life Consciously. So if you like whatever we talked about today, and if you want to learn or hear more of us, then click the like, make a comment. Feel free to join us in any of our platforms, and hope to see you again soon for the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Mwah.